how they are able to skip that line, how they are given preferential treatment. So when people say things like coming the right way, they're not talking about the racial undertones nor the issues of destabilization that are happening in Latin America. So again, I'll just reiterate, while the United States was actively destabilizing countries like Guatemala, Panama, Nicaragua, Honduras, these are primarily people who are Black or indigenous coming from those countries. They give preferential treatment to white people from other countries in an attempt to push an imperialist agenda. So I don't know why you thought that was a gotcha moment, saying they came quote unquote the right way. They were literally given a fast track, and there were laws created such as the wet foot, dry foot, which allowed them to do so while denying access for these more marginalized and actually oppressed people.
Well, I was just saying they were coming from an actual asylum. They were actually being persecuted.
No, they were not, actually. And I've lived in Cuba, so I can tell
you just said that.
That's false. Yeah.
What?
That's false. I mean, have you been to Cuba?
I thought you and I just agree that they were being incredibly dismantled and attacked. So they weren't being persecuted?
Cubans?
Yeah.
By whom?
By their own.
No, incorrect. I've lived in Cuba. Have you been there? It's okay that you fall for U.S. propaganda, but again, you'll have to come with actual sources. So the revolution in Cuba gave civil rights to Black Cubans. It also allowed for the extreme income inequality to be alleviated. And it also was getting U.S. foreign interests out of their country and putting that the ownership back into the hands of the people. So people who were exploiting the poor and people of color in Cuba didn't like that. And so they, in quotation marks, fled to the United States. That's not oppression. I understand that for white people,
persecution from their own government.
I understand.
So real quick. Let me jump in. So Taco Cat, I'll let you back. I'll give you one more opportunity, right? Let me let Catalina finish.
Okay.
And since she, listen, and real quick, to your credit, if panelists say I want to talk about Taco Cat, I'm going to give him an opportunity to respond. But Taco Cat, I need you to also let Catalina and whoever is wanting to address you finish completely before you interrupt. Okay, go ahead, Catalina.
Yeah, and I'll land with this. It's very telling that as we always state, to white people and to the privileged, equality looks like oppression to them. So to sit here and say that they were being oppressed because they refused to give civil rights to the people who were less fortunate than them, just kind of tells everything we need to know about his framework for how he views people in our society, marginalized people in our society. So no, that is definitely false. And again, I just listed a bunch of sources that you can look at that show directly the U.S. intervention and destabilization of Latin American countries. So if they were being oppressed, why are we not giving preferential treatment to indigenous Guatemalans who are being unalived at a G-side rate? I would consider that much more political oppression than I would somebody who, has to give up their plantation.
All right. Taco, if you want to respond to that, and then I want to go back down to Abby.
Once again, it's always America's fault. I mean, point to anywhere, and it's we destabilized that, and they just couldn't get their shit back together for some reason. It's unbelievable. With Venezuela even, people cheering in the streets, Caracas, all these people crying and cheering that something has been done to at least take a step towards something, whether it's for America's gain or not. You guys are so cute. So once again, when they ask me, and I'll land here, I'll try to just, not rant. They ask me why I'm a Republican. I would feel pretty bad if I was a Democrat. If my president, who only lost by 1%, apparently with only 107 days to campaign, didn't come back with next time we're going to kick your ass with a full term, and came back with buy my book and I'm not telling you if I'm running. And your leaders right now have not said anything about ICE, Venezuela, any of it. What's Kamala's take on any of this, guys? Anything? These are your representatives, and they're silent in their mansions. My president, during his term when he wasn't in office, was tweeting, texting, fighting every day that when I get back in office, we're going to fight for America. My side fights for us. Your side is left you alone.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm a socialist, but also that's misinformation. People in Venezuela were protesting U.S. intervention. The people who were celebrating were in Miami and Spain.
Okay,
that's misinformation.
Hold on, y'all.
How's that feel?
Yeah, hold on, Taco. Let me let Let me let Abby get a final comment. So I'm gonna let Abby go. Abby, anything else, fam, you want to say about what's going on in Minnesota? I do want to bring it back to Minnesota, by the way, y'all. Go ahead, Abby. Abby, you're on mute. Hold on. Let's see. Abby, you might need a request. Let's see.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, I was trying to put my on mute and I couldn't. To be honest, sorry, excuse me. And I'm probably going to go down after this because like I said, I'm not feeling well. Yeah, I really don't. And going back to, I'm just going to respond something real quick with Taco. And he said, I don't know if you really understand when they say, depending on certain countries, when another country goes and destabilize another country, there are some of them that it will take them quite some time before they can actually rebuild. So for you to say that when this country are being destabilized, why aren't they getting themselves back together? Because there are some countries that it will actually take them a lot longer to be able to stabilize. So just keep that in mind. And I'm not sure how much traveling you've done. And again, I'm not, but start looking into that. So again, when some of these countries, when they stabilize, when they are being destabilized, they feel that traveling to other places may be a better way for them to, either help themselves or help their family. So just keep that in mind.
No, I got you. I mean, the destabilization was 1954, right? Guatemala's not that big, just so you know, it's small. And these places are run by CTELs. Venezuela has more gold and oil deposits than any country in the world. And they are in a humanitarian crisis because they are run by CTELs. And they sell that stuff off.
Misinformation.
I love that you say that. That's your favorite word.
Okay, real quick. Hold on, y'all. So Abby, we're gonna let you go. I know you're not feeling well. Thank you so much for coming up.
Okay,
appreciate you. Let me we're gonna let Abby go. Carolina, real quick, if you want to address what Taco said, then I want to let Drex, Nerdy, and G Wiz get an opportunity to come in. Go ahead.
I'll just be super quick. This man has already stated that he refuses to produce sources. So when we claim misinformation, he's unable to even try to back up his claims. There are not CTELs or cartels. We can say the word cartels. There are not cartels running Guatemala. There are not cartels running Venezuela. Again, this is U.S. propaganda. So if you have a source documenting that is verifiable and peer reviewed, I will be happy to look at it. But that's absolutely false. And I like how you just pivoted from me saying that indigenous people in Guatemala, the original people there, are still experiencing a G-side. It is not just destabilization happening in 1954. It has been ongoing. The Civil War was still going on in that country in the 80s and 90s. So I don't know what you're talking about, but for you to basically admit you don't care that people are being unalived due to U.S. intervention in their country, but you care that some rich white Cubans had to give up a mansion, like, my guy, just admit that you don't like black and brown people. Like, this is crazy. But I just want a source, and he's not going to produce it. So,
okay, thank you, Catalina. Let me go to Drex. Drex, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I want to kind of talk about also the way that illegal immigrants, or as they call it, undocumented, how that comes to be, because if we just look at the situation with Haitians, just speaking on my own country per se, there's about, let's say, 700,000 in the U.S. right now with naturalization and green card. Those that aren't, the total is about also, I want to say 700,000. However, after February 3rd, Christine Noem has already announced that they're ending the TPS, which is the temporary protected status for a lot of these people. And so that number is going to go from, right now it's about 100,000 to 150,000 undocumented. It's going to go to 700,000. And I think that's what the people in the administration kind of use as numbers. Whenever a protected status is ended, they go on the next day and say, look how many undocumented people are in America that are from this place. It's because the status just ended. And you're using disingenuous tactics to push a political narrative saying that these people are coming here in droves, when this has just been a norm for the past few years. And not only that, but this was a TPS that was trying to be ended back in 2017 during the first administration under Trump. And the courts blocked it. And there's obvious reason why, because you can't say, oh, they're completely okay because their conditions from 2010 earthquake improved. No, it's not. And the fact that people and the administration are trying to act like it is just really disingenuous, and I don't like that.
Okay.
That's all I'll say about Haiti.
All right, Drax, I'm gonna let you go, brother. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate your perspective.
I want to just say thank you so much, Smitty, for having me on. I've been watching your show like past few mornings. And I want to say thank you to everyone on the panel. Really eloquent and very precise speaking. Awesome, accurate claims. I just want to say, keep going, Smitty. This is awesome to see you do this. So, hey,
thank you, man. I really appreciate you. All right.
I just want to quickly rebuttal. Nice. My source was from
migrant. What do you think about
policy.
that, Taco Cat?
Yeah, my source was from migrant.
Hold on, bro. What do you think about what Drex had to say about the platform? Would you agree that this has been a fair platform for you to be able to speak your views? What do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So my source is migrantpolicy.org. I hope no one can deny that there was a hatred migration into Miami, and within just 2 years, 400,000 of them entered into our lands, and we did put a special.
I stated that.
And we did put a special parole program on them, and that is coming to an end because it's just not good for our nation. We're deciding to go another route. Let me tell you just another idea here that you might have not thought of. AI is a new game coming to America, and there are companies like Terracote and Xeon that have contracts with the government that have AI robots that can do cultivation in the fields that these undocumented people are doing. They can literally pick the fruit at the right time, and not only that, they can zap the these bugs with lasers. I've seen these things, so they're not going to have jobs anymore. The game is changing in America. AI is going to play a huge part in this, and there is an AI race right now, and that's
okay.
Stop it! Just stop it.
So disgusting at this
AI
point.
picking fruit.
Are we serious?
You believe the Earth is flat, don't you?
Now you're at 90% of how much fairness this live is since I just got muted.
All right, let me.
God damn, son.
Yeah. Hold on, Taco. So
although it's not your land, it's my land.
Like really trying to.
All land is stolen land. If you don't defend it, you lose it.
So real quick,
off, you fucking white supremacist. Okay, let me go back on mute.
Okay. Let me hold on, and then also let me call on you, whoever this is to all six, right? Let me call on the person, and then let that person come in because Drex was really just kind of leaving. But let me go to Nerdy. Okay, go ahead, Nerdy. What are your thoughts on what's going on in Minnesota? I do want to. I need to stop these
You're
comments.
making me laugh.
Go ahead, Nerdy. Go ahead.
You're laughing.
Oh gosh.
Just want to say, I do appreciate your lives. I was saying in the comments, you have been like the most fair person I've seen in debate space, and I've been in debate spaces for a few years now. But
thank you, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. Also, what's going on in Minnesota obviously is, terrible. And in my opinion, I think it's a testing ground to see how the rest of the world or the rest of the United States is going to be done afterwards. Because we all know what's going on. Like, Trump is doing this to essentially become a dictator, not just in name, but in action. And do I have a feedback?
A little bit, yeah.
Dang it. I don't know how to get rid of it.
Yeah, you definitely got a little bit. It's not that annoying to me, but you know.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted by that. Oh, bad. But I did want to ask a question.
Yeah. Before.
To the panel, mostly Catalina, because you were talking about socialism and communism and things of that nature. And I've always wanted, I haven't done a lot of research on communism myself, and it is kind of tied into the topic. And it's hard to ask in the comments. But do you think that there's never been a time where communism and socialism have been able to be effective without the influence of capitalism and white supremacy?
That question to me, Mom?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's an excellent question and a wonderful point. So no, and specifically we can look at Latin America as the prime example, because the United States does not want, socialism or communism, any leftist movement succeeding in their backyard, because they know about the ramifications and the fact that the United States has been exploiting and destabilizing these countries. Because if you notice, we're not going into the Nordic countries. We're not going into these European countries where socialism is thriving. They don't care about that. They don't want that smoke, so to speak. So no, anytime that a leftist government has, taken over administration in a Latin American country, and other countries as well, like in Southeast Asia and some in Africa as well, the United States goes in. And we know this is not like conjecture. This is not conspiracy theory. We can look at declassified documents. We can look at the, if you guys don't know about the School of the Americas, I would suggest looking at that. This is, the School of the Americas is what they placed in Latin America to be able to recruit people from these countries, pay them, to be trained to, basically send them in to overthrow their own governments. Additionally, we look at the sanctions. So Cuba is a prime example, because the United States, like when people say, oh, they could just like fix their own country or whatever, the island of Cuba is very small. The United States is the most powerful military and governing force on the globe, so to speak. So when you have the most powerful nation causing crippling sanctions and then causing intervention and multiple CIA attempts to assassinate your leader, obviously it's going to be a little difficult to come back from that, right? And I can speak to this because when I was in Cuba in 2015, I was working with an economic professor there. So Cuba has like some of the best doctors in the world. They send their doctors everywhere. They were able to eliminate the passage of HIV from mother to child. They were able to develop a lung cancer vaccine. They have great advancement, but what they lack a lot is the equipment and technology. So at that time, this economics professor was demonstrating to us how the Cuban government was working out a deal with Japan for medical supplies that was going to very much revolutionize their hospitals there. The United States spies caught wind of this, threatened additional sanctions on Japan, and so not even just on Cuba, and we're trying to enforce that to the point where the deal fell through. So that is an excellent point. Whenever we see socialism or communism actually starting to gain traction and be successful, the United States does everything in its power through overt and covert operations to destabilize them and try to overthrow them, which is exactly what we've seen in Venezuela as well. So yeah, if we were to leave them the F alone, we would definitely be able to see more success in these countries.
Do you think we're going to see that in New York?
So real quick.
Oh my God.
Let's hold on.
We don't allow socialists. They just voted for one.
Hold on. See, that's what we're talking about. Let me go to G Wiz. G Wiz wants to come up. Yeah, give me a second, Taco.
Thank you, Smitty. I came up only because Taco decided to bring up Haitian people randomly. So, of course, I'm just coming up to see further. Well, I kind of know where his xenophobia and anti-Blackness is coming from. I'm just curious, Taco, do you think Haitian people just decided to come to America randomly?
Go ahead, Taco. You can respond. She has asked you a direct question. Taco, you should be able to respond. Okay, the one time.
So part of the
look at God.
Okay, so then let me just speak on America's role in destabilizing Haiti. So you see how you all are on the conservative side are applauding the removal of Maduro. Well, so there was a removal like that back in 2004. So George W. Bush removed a duly elected president of Haiti in 2004, put him on a plane and sent him off to Africa. That is the reason why Haiti continues to be on its destabilization route. So, Taco, please explain, since it's about persecution of a people, why that doesn't count. Because I'm sure you don't mind Venezuelans now coming over to America. Tell me why Haitian people shouldn't come to America.
Go ahead, Taco, your response.
Yeah, they're welcome to come totally legally if just like
okay, but they have been coming legally.
They have been coming legally.
Right. And do you actually, because Carolina, I think it was, mentioned the wet foot, dry foot policy, which I put it in the comment section. So you like that policy, right? You just touch down, as long as your foot can touch sand, you're legal.
No, I hate that. Well,
okay, but you said Cubans, though, were doing it the right way. That was an exclusive Cuban policy, though. Cuban
what we
migrant
saw
policy.
from the Cuban Americans who came here was them working hard and
Oh, so
really.
you don't know Haitians who work hard? You're on the migrantpolicy.org
Oh,
website.
they started having
You
to
know-
add a curfew in Miami because the crime was getting so wild.
Well, no, that wasn't because of Haitians, though. I'm
Ma'am,
sorry.
400,000 of them landed in 2 years.
Taco, you're on the migrant policy. You said you were on their thing. You could do a side by side between Cuban immigrants, like their profile, and Haitian immigrants. You could tell us what the college attainment is, what proficiency in English, do a difference right there for us since you're there, because they do immigrant profiles.
Yeah, I'm
so you
not
can
gonna
say
do
who
that.
earns more between the two groups, since you think we're the ones that are bringing in crime into Miami.
Once
Rugs
again,
too, Taco, rugs in Miami. That's also Haitian people?
it's everyone.
Oh, okay. Right. I don't know what your
It's
app
not
is
helping.
to
It's not
grind
helping.
it, but-
400,000 people in 2 years is an insane number. And we
you
also
do
have a
know-
law
are
in
you
this
from-
country that if you bring children, we have to take care of those too. We put them in our school.
Cubans don't have children?
I don't know why I'm being muted. So we have a law in this country that if you sneak in with children, we have to take care of them. We put them in our schools. We allocate new money for them. And we feed them. We don't just let them roam the streets. So we didn't allocate for 100,000 kids to show up at our door, but we took care of them. And more in debt we go, and more our programs stress.
Okay, Taco.
They pay
So do
taxes.
Cubans bring children in tow? Because I remember a very famous case, Elian Gonzalez, of a Cuban child being brought on tow. So again, you have a preference, and the only preference I see, like the panel has told you before, is skin color. Because it couldn't be that, there's a dramatic difference between the two groups. And what is the dominant language, Taco, in Miami? Is it Haitian Creole?
Go ahead, Taco. So I'm gonna let G Wiz and
Sorry,
Taco
yes, I do
dialogue.
speak Creole if you were asking.
I'm gonna kind of suspend the rules a little bit of the live. I'm gonna let them dialogue. So go ahead, Taco.
No,
You
the
have a
dominant
conversation with G Wiz.
language. Because I
think it's
know
English.
a lot of conservatives love for English to be first. What is the
You said
dominant
in
language
Miami?
in
You said
Miami?
English is a dominant language?
No, I thought she meant in Haiti.
No. I meant in Miami, because you have a concern about Miami
in Miami.
being turned out by Haitian people.
Well, a lot of Haitians speak English.
Okay, they do. But what do they speak predominantly in Miami?
Probably English.
Spanish.
I mean, and when you're in the workplace and stuff, you don't go to.
Incorrect.
Oh,
I live in
okay.
Miami.
So you've
It's
concerned
Spanish.
yourself with Miami, and you seem to not know much about South Florida. Because we do try. Again, that's why I said, if you go on the migrantpolicy.org website, we have a higher, English proficiency than other groups.
Okay.
So again, I think your
Definitely.
xenophobia
you are
is,
more educated than others, and family, oriented. So that is good. Once again, we let you in because of a crisis, and now we are getting people out because of a crisis. And
Hey,
it's simple math
Taco,
for
you
us.
know what? The U.S. has the right to enforce, because I wanted for Smitty to be able to go back to Minnesota. The U.S. has the right to enforce its immigration policy. My issue is when you all scapegoat randomly Haitian people, and you all rarely have info on us as a country and as a people.
I was just saying, hey, there. We were talking about immigration to the land, and saying, hey, Haiti, dropped about 700,000 people here. Just so you can know, in those same years, you can look it up. Cuba also brought 825,000 people here. So
Okay, I know that.
stop.
I'm from South Florida, Taco.
It doesn't stop. So am I.
I've seen the migrant boats coming. And ironically enough, every time there's a crisis in both countries have boats making their way down to South Florida. It's not usually one or the other. So we'll see Cuban migrants coming down over to Florida, as well as Haitian. But for some reason, the xenophobic bile comes towards Haitians and not necessarily towards Cubans. That's the only reason why I came up. The other thing,
Either or, they don't assimilate to you as a African American.
What's that supposed to mean? They don't assimilate to you.
They
What
don't.
does that
They
mean?
Cubans
segregate.
don't assimilate.
And they don't
What
assimilate.
are you talking about?
but if we speak English, Taco, if we have a higher proficiency and we're wanting to, how are we not assimilating?
Whether you speak the same language or not doesn't mean that they're going to treat you as a nice person or like who you are.
So you've met
Because I
Haitian
think you and I
people,
could
Taco?
agree, they don't like you.
You've met Haitian
They
people?
don't hang out with you. They don't. Whether it's any place. I mean, they segregate on their own.
1 second. Is he talking about Black Americans as a
That's
white
what
man?
I'm confused.
Yes, I am.
What the hell is going on right now? This is
because I was just in a live with a bunch of them, and they were agreeing that we don't get along with them.
Okay, hold on. As a Black woman, hold on. Okay, hold on a second. Wiz.
It's from blackpeople.org.
Wiz.
Yes.
2
Did
seconds.
he just say Black people?
Meaning I was just in an all-black panel before this, and that's what they were discussing, was that they do not get along with these people.
Okay, stop.
Okay,
stop.
okay, go ahead. Let me let Nichelle address. I'm just gonna go ahead.
Yeah, hold on a second. Wiz, you dropped something. Here's your crown, sis, because that was the read down of all read downs. Weren't Haitians in Springfield invited by Springfield to come in and work?
I don't know if they had a program. Maybe
I didn't say you.
Oh, they were, Nichelle. Yes, they were. And a lot of people do not know, to your point, Nichelle, sorry, I just wanted to quickly point out that there are actually corporations actively recruiting Haitian people. So they will go in Haitian majority areas and tell them, hey, I've got something, a job for you out in Alabama, out in Mississippi, because Haitian people used to just, stay in South Florida, but there are now corporations targeting us.
Thank you, sis. And for those of you all who don't know.
Yes, with the legal visas.
Taco, your feelings are falling out. Be quiet. So for those of you all who don't know, Springfield is a predominantly white American, apple pie, baseball kind of place. And they invited, through work programs, employers there, Haitians to that city, right? So to Wiz's point about targeting, which demographic of immigrants are coming in, I think Taco's made it pretty obvious. I'm not even going to address the blackpeople.org comment. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. But I really want people to focus on, when we're talking about immigration, a lot of them are invited here by corporations. Actually, many of them are. And that's across the country. So, Taco, again, you don't have sources and you keep displaying all this misinformation, and it's damaging.
No, so anyone can look that up. 400,000 showed up in the past 2 years. Well, you think
that's
Taco,
already been addressed.
Okay. You're saying
muting
that.
Me. He opened the panel up. Why are you muting me?
Okay, but Taco, I did want to quickly say, because I know Smitty wants to get back to Minnesota, and I think it's a valuable conversation. I do want to point out to you again, you cannot just read things out of context. 400,000 showed up magically for what reason? Again, to the point of the panel of the U.S. destabilizing their regional partners of regional countries. Well, you don't know about Haiti. Did you know that the U.S. occupied Haiti for 22 years?
When was that?
1915 to 1934. Oh, you're laughing, but okay. Again, that's an actual fact. And also, too, they stole our gold reserves. These are actual facts, and you don't know Haiti, so of course you'll laugh. When you read,
that's what brought 400,000
I
here.
suggest it's a rabbit hole that you go down. It is a rabbit hole.
Let me do this, y'all. Let me go back to Nerdy real quick. Nerdy, anything else you want to say, fam? And I want to let Covey and Callie get their opportunity. But I want to give Nerdy anything else you want to say, you want to talk about in regards to topic or anything else?
For sure. Yeah, I just wanted to say one last thing. And I was going to drop anyways because, I'm not op in any sense of the imagination because I think that what's going on is disgusting. But I do want to point out that people tend to equate what's going on to Nazi Germany. But what's funny enough is what people don't understand is that Schmittler learned his cruelty and policies from Jim Crow America. And people always call, ICE the Gestapo, but technically they're like slave catchers, if we're being honest. But a lot of people, I do see the correlation, but because there is a correlation to that. And lately I've been kind of obsessed with studying patterns, the Fibonacci sequence, and applying it to history instead of math or tech. So I just hope that people learn a little bit more because it's actually fairly interesting to figure out. But I just would hope that I guess I just don't understand how people can see what's going on and not be upset and try and say, yeah, this is great, I'm voting for it. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate you allowing me up on the panel, and thank you, Carolina. I think I said, I think I called you Catalina by accident. I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous. I'm usually a comment person.
Oh, no, you're fine. It's Carolina, but you can say Carolina. That's okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I hope you have a great day. I'll be in the comments.
Okay, Nerdy. No, and listen,
I don't know if you guys are talking.
I really appreciate all your feedback. Okay, thank you so much for coming up. All right, let me go to Pumpkin Spice Latte Covey. Since you want to mess with me in the comments, man.
Listen, I learned in this live that Starbucks was the pinnacle of civilization, and modern advancement. That was something new I learned today. First thing I wanted to say, Smitty, by the way, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to say on behalf of white Americans, I wanted to say that Taco definitely is a racist person. Since everybody is speaking for communities they don't belong to, I just wanted to say on behalf of white Americans, I think Taco should lose his white badge. And if people ask me for the source for that statement, I read it off of white.com. What G was saying, by the way, before she talked about when America occupied Haiti, it's very interesting that they also rewrote the Constitution, because prior to the American occupation, within Haitian law, it was made illegal to own land if you were not Haitian, right? And this was done to prevent the French from buying up land. And what America did was, when they occupied Haiti, they rewrote that part of the Constitution to allow foreigners to come in and also buy up that land. But of course, Taco does not know that, because they probably have never read a book, right? And to your topic, Smitty, again, I hear people like Taco, who his ancestors themselves came on boats, by the way, depending on when he came to the U.S. or when he went to the U.S. He probably also arrived on a boat, probably didn't apply for a visa, right? Crazy. When they talk about immigration, I don't understand why you don't talk about your own government causing or creating refugees, right? Because, if you do not want refugees, then stop meddling in other countries. This is a genuine question that I've always asked myself, right? Americans who complain about refugees and immigrants, and especially white Americans who literally are children of refugees, by the way, okay? People who didn't know how to take showers, so the indigenous people had to put flowers over them because they stunk so much. Biological warfare, walking biological warfare. But anyways, why do you continue wanting to benefit off of the destabilization of other countries under the guise of our military is going there to fight for our freedom, but then you don't want the consequences of it, right? This is something that I've genuinely asked myself, right? Minnesota. How many times has America drone striked Somali citizens? Like people from Somalia. How many times has America actively intervened within their politics and drone strike them just last year, right? The same thing with, are they going to be surprised when Venezuelan refugees arrive in America now because they went in there themselves and destabilized it? So my question is, again, right? If you do not like refugees, then mind your own damn business. Stop meddling in other people's countries. Stop putting sanctions on other people's countries. I always say this, by the way, okay? America meddling within the politics of my country led to a 30-year genocide. A 30-year fucking genocide because America decided not to mind its damn business and intervened in the politics of my country. So a person like Taco does not care, though, that people are being genocided for 30 years because of his damn disgusting government, because he benefits off of that. He
Wait,
loves
do you want us to
the
step
benefits.
in or not?
I'm not done.
You've been
Pookie, I'm not done. I'm not done, Pookie, okay? So he benefits off of that. And that's the issue that I have. people like Taco benefit off of, like, their comfort is subsidized by the suffering of other groups of people, but then they act shocked Pikachu face when those people show up at their doorsteps. You should be angry at your government and not the people who are victims of your government.
Could you just explain that to me a little bit, that we stepped into your government and for the next 30 years,
I'm sorry. Like, look, how many more like weird questions are we going to take from him that are just reiterating like colonial like mindset or whatever?
Yeah, I should go enjoy the echo
Shut
chamber.
the fuck up, Taco. I wasn't done. She wasn't done speaking, so you're not going to colonize her fucking time like you colonize other nations. Shut the fuck up, and we're not done. Kobe, would you like to finish?
Thank you, Callie, sis. No, I was just gonna say, like, if you want to fix the root of the issue, right? Thank you, by the way, Callie. If you want to fix the root cause of everything, then stop meddling in other countries. Stop destabilizing other countries. Stop trying to quote unquote harness the resources. Mind you, the Trump administration released his national security strategy in November 2025, and I keep harping on about this. On the last page, they literally say actively that they want to harness the resources of Africa. So they continue doing it. They continue actively meddling in other people's countries, and then they get shocked. Why? Why aren't you angry at your own government instead of being angry at the victims of your government? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kobe. All right. We'll go to Callie and then we'll go to Chat It Up.
Well, the person that I came up to address is not here anymore, and Kobe covered a lot of what I wanted to say. But I am going to say that I find it really weird when Wahite people especially decide to insert themselves into conversations about immigration in a way that's completely disingenuous, because it fails to acknowledge the constant destabilization of other nations, particularly Black and brown nations, on an ongoing basis for literally hundreds of fucking years. And in this particular case, he decided to hone in on Haiti, which Haiti has been absolutely punished consistently since they liberated themselves from enslavement. And if we are being so fucking for real, like the Haitian government has never actually had an opportunity to be a Haitian government governed for and by Haitian people without intervention from other nations. Primarily the United States. In fact, the United States helped France for the duration of time, over 100 years, in fact, to collect upon restitution, essentially, for the liberation of the Haitian people. It's absolutely absurd that they got to collect restitution from the people that they were fucking enslaving. Okay. But the United States government intervened, and that's how Haiti ended up losing a lot of their mineral resources, and places like Citibank were literally built on the financial wealth, the mineral wealth from Haiti, the theft of the gold reserves from Haiti. So let's be so fucking for real. And that has continued. They collected roughly, in today's money, like $120 billion from what is now, Haiti. It's crazy work to sit up here and say that there's no reason for them to be fleeing to the United States, even though, even now, we continue to oppress that nation. Bill Clinton has come out recently to talk about the fact that he is at fault for Haiti not being able to grow their own rice, and for disincentivizing the growth of Haitian rice, the sale of Haitian rice, and the livability, essentially, that was hampered for the Haitian people by being able to sell that resource internationally, and making that resource completely uncompetitive because the U.S. decided to intervene. And let's not even talk about the fact that the United States sent quote unquote peacekeepers into Haiti. And by the way, we don't send peacekeepers nowhere. We only send soldiers into places where we have we have resources to secure. Okay. There's no such thing as United States fucking peacekeepers. I need y'all to get that through y'all's head. We sent quote unquote peacekeepers into Haiti. And when we did that, what did they do? They actually contaminated the water sources. They ended up getting got thousands of people unalived because they contaminated the water sources there with cholera. Okay, let's be so for real. The United States has never gone into a place ever, invaded a place. Let's be clear. Okay, and never ever left a place better off than we found it. The United States is not the good guy in the story. Stop telling that damn lie. Haiti is in the position that it's in right now because of colonial powers, including the United States. And that might be uncomfortable for people, but it is a fucking fact. If you left places like Haiti alone, if you left the Congo alone, if you left South Africa alone, if you left Burkina Faso the fuck alone and stopped allowing, and on, by the way, Venezuela, if you stopped intervening, if you stopped allowing colonial powers to impose themselves on Black and brown people around the damn globe, those places would thrive. You know why they would thrive? Is because the intervention, the intelligence lives there. The opportunity lives there. They are not lacking in intellect. They're not lacking in anything. The only thing they're lacking in is international protections. We have built Western world coalitions around exploitation of Black and brown nations. That is why it's allowed to continue. These Black and brown nations would not be suffering now if they didn't have whole infrastructures that were built on their exploitation by way of war powers. I'm gonna go back on mute now, but seriously, people like that person that was up here earlier needs to get mollywopped to the face. I wish I could meet him in real life because I would mollywop that person to the face. I'm gonna go back on mute. Thank you for letting me up, Smitty.
I got you. Yeah. Let me address something real quick because there's people in the chat. Hey, why did he get kicked? Why did he leave? Blah 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 blah. That's not fair. It's 5-on-1 or whatever it may be. First, as you guys know, if you've been on my platform for any length of time, I always ask for folks to come up from both perspectives and try to make it as even of a debate as we can. The problem is, though, that I want to address this. I want to be very, very clear. The problem is when you have somebody that comes up and says he wants to debate, but doesn't want to bring any sources to the debate. The people that you were supporting him, y'all didn't say nothing about that. When he engaged in misogyny and misogynoir against the Black women and women of color up on the panel, y'all didn't say nothing about that. But then when he gets kicked, then y'all want to be mad. Like he's breaking every rule of the live. If you like my live and my platform so much, why didn't you get mad at him when he broke every damn rule of the live? In fact, when he was up, he was the one that was being censored and talked to them. And so if you really like the platform, wouldn't that make you upset? Wouldn't you be upset? Hey, I really like Smitty's platform because he's fair, blah, 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 blah. But you didn't care about the fairness when the trauma was being exploited to Black women and women of color. Didn't care about the trauma. So I really don't give a damn if you don't like what the hell we did, right? When we let him go. I really don't give a damn. Because again, if you really liked and appreciated this space, you would have been mad at him and you would have understood why we kicked him. Chat it up. Go ahead, fam. Your thoughts. Feel free to request if you agree. I would ICE in Minnesota.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm trying to calm down. I just find it extremely funny that the person who was up here, the only reason why their nation got independence was because of the assistance of Black and brown bodies, especially with Haitian immigrants who assisted in gaining their independence, had the audacity to even get on this panel to speak about Haitians. That's absolutely asinine. That's number one. Number two, if you know about the history of Haiti, then you know that America, the United States of America, has been traumatizing and antagonizing the Haitian people for centuries. It is still happening as of 2026, the year of our Lord 2026. You know that America has tried to colonize us several times. You know, America has captured our president. You know, America has unalived our president. And as of recently in our year of our Lord 2026, you know that America is trying to force the Haitian government, the Haitian people to choose a government who was actually found guilty of actually taking money and sending it back to the American people. He's one of y'all. So to sit on this app Because what he did was Haiti this, Haiti that, Haitian said, get mama, how about that? So to me, I just find it extremely insane. And then on top of that, you sat up here and try to throw our African-American brothers and sisters on like as a dig to us, like, oh, they don't get along with y'all. But why you came on this panel, you said a bunch of Haitian words you didn't even pronounce correctly because you wanted to try to see that you can fit in. And I'm trying to understand how you say you don't fuck with us, but you knew Haitian words. It doesn't make sense. You ran your mouth on this panel, but couldn't answer none of G's questions. You couldn't say nothing you couldn't respond to nothing that G asked you because you wanted to motherfucking fit in. At the end of the day, you're a bigot. It is what it is. You're a bigot and you're a loser. You can't, I'm so upset. Haitians are coming into this country not because they want to come to this country. Haitians are coming into this country because America has done nothing but destabilized us. And we're not talking about destabilizers in terms of resources only. We're talking about destabilizers in terms of black bodies unaliving us, sending pew-pews and stuff into Haiti and each one of us unaliving each other. That's what they're doing and destabilizing Haiti consistently. Haiti was a great country prior to Americans coming into this country and messing with us consistently. And every president that we have put that actually was assisting Haiti, they turned around and destabilized Haiti. So for you to sit on this panel, and then he kept talking about Haitians and Cubans are this and Cuban and that. Do you not know the history between Haitians and Cubans? Do you not know? I'm not understanding. And I feel like this entire thing was just, I don't know. I just really want him to come back up so I can cuss him the fuck out. And I'm upset. I'm really upset. I really want to slap him.
Yeah, listen. He's definitely not coming back today. But if there's somebody that does want to support ICE and you want to come up and you want to have a respectful discussion, yeah, absolutely, you can come up. So just put a 1 in if you're in the request. Feel free to come up. Just understand, and I don't say this to be self-aggrandizing, right? But just on this platform, you have some very, very talented and incredible women who are going to debate you on what you say. And if you don't have sources, and if your rhetoric is lined with xenophobia, anti-blackness, and misogyny and misogynoir, you're going to get checked on it. So just be ready. Like, I have no problem with letting folks up that agree with it. I have no problem. Just do it respectfully.
I'm gonna drop back down to make space. But again, thank you for having me up. And I would say before I go, Beebs, for y'all goofies in the comment section, I ain't never had no beef with a single Haitian person. I'm not Haitian, I'm Black American. But I ain't never had no beef with a single Haitian person ever. And what you're not gonna do is try to create diaspora wars, cause not a white man trying to tell me that Haitian people don't like Black Americans or Black Americans don't like Haitians. How the fuck are y'all in Black business anyway? Go mind your pale ass business, because y'all were having diaspora wars for thousands of, y'all can't get along with nobody, including people who look like you. So I need you to go mind the business that pays your fucking white ass, and that's colonialism. So go somewhere else, but here's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna let you colonize this fucking life. So goodbye.
All right.
Period.
Thank you, Callie. Thank you for coming up. All right, so we'll let Callie go. We'll go to, I think, Dark Angel. Dark Angel, sounds like you agree with what ICE is doing in Minnesota. Feel free to explain why. Go ahead. Get your full time.
Before I start, can I say something? First of all, with Haiti, if you don't mind. Haiti, I totally respect Haiti, and they have a great they know their history as far as being descendants of being Taínos. The young lady knows what I'm talking about. They have a great parade. I support what Barbecue is doing there. He's fighting.
Oh no!
Let's maybe go to topic if we can.
I'm speaking for me.
I got you. But if we could talk about white.
Everybody's on a different level. See, on a spiritual level, and for the sisters, bro. First of all, as far as my personal belief, I hold up the sisters, not.
So real quick. Let's if we can just go to topic and why you support ICE being in Minnesota. That'd be great.
You're not gonna let me talk or what?
No. We just want to hear about what you think about Minnesota.
I say that because when you want an argument statement, I got to give my. Can we be fair? Can I speak like the YT guy? Can I get at least a couple words?
Go ahead. We just want to hear what you think about the topic, though. That's all.
Yeah, because it has to do with everything. Because I'm not against their sisters. I'm not against. I don't want it to be spun a certain way before I speak on that. Got to. So I said basically because my spiritual beliefs that everything happens for a reason, and some people they got to go back home and they got to go do the work. Like in America's. My people is from South Florida and Miami. You took me off with you. Oh, my people's from South Florida, Miami, and they were living pretty good there. They owned a lot of property in what's now downtown Miami and all of that. And things changed when the influx of the Cubans and different people came. And I mean, people got to make a way for themselves. I get it. But things changed there drastically. There's a lot of crime and a lot of stuff happening that gets placed on the Black American, and it's got to get cleaned up one way or another. Do I support a lot of tactics? No, but I mean we've been telling you what these people do, and it's happening. People thought it was all good. They thought they were special people. They thought they were special Negroes or something or whatever, and now who
thought they were special? I'm just confused. Dark. Who? When you say they thought they were special, who thought they were special? When you say that,
a lot of immigrants.
Oh, okay.
When you're talking to a person, listen, I've been through the Caribbean. When you're talking about Guatemala, I wanted to ask the sister about Guatemala. I've stayed in Guatemala before. I've been to Mexico, all over through Mexico. So, I mean, I've traveled. And I'm just, I'm not going to come on here and say, yeah, I want to see people getting bashed over the head and stuff like that. But, where was listen, they've been taking families and breaking up families. They was doing that to us in the 80s and the 90s. Nobody didn't care. It was all good. So sometimes you have to realize, so now is your moment. I look at it like you better pay attention to what's happening to you and realize and get back to the source of who we are and who all of us are. And maybe it'll bring us together down the road. But right now, on the tribal plane, if you understand on the tribal plane, that we're all going to tribe up and delineate a lot of us. That's what's happening.
Okay.
A lot of us not going to come out there and get our heads split for people who didn't even care about us, who disrespected us. And
okay, you're on time, brother. You're on time.
Thank you.
Can I respond?
Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead.
Okay.
And then we'll go
this is why I say like this is asinine. This whole entire conversation is asinine, right? So let me get this straight. You as an African-American man, right, saw an influx of Black Caribbeans or Black immigrants coming to this country and an influx of just 1 second. You saw an influx of white immigrants coming to this country and you saw an influx of crime happening. And you assumed that it was the Black immigrants that were actually doing the crime. And you want me to have this conversation with you about this asinine conversation. You see how that shit don't fucking make sense? You see how that don't make sense? You are also participating in white supremacy as we're speaking. And on top of that, you keep talking about spirituality this and spirituality that. If you actually practice African spirituality, depends on what you practice. You wouldn't be happy about the fact that your own Black brothers and sisters are being terrorized and destabilized. You are saying it's our time. It's our times. It's always been Black and brown people's time. We have never rested. I don't know what time, what year, what time you missed in this entire world. I don't know how old you are. You probably older than me. You're an ancestor walking. All right, now I'm only 29. I don't know what time you wanted to pick, but it has always been our time. It has always been our time. They haven't left up off our necks in centuries. So what are you talking about?
Did you listen at all what I said?
I listened entirely what you spoke of. And as a person who has, let me tell you something, as a person whose father is African American, and as a person whose mother is Haitian and Jamaican,
hold on, y'all.
well, you asked me a question, so I'm responding to you. I am.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, Dark.
Can you spell apple? We'll wait.
Hold on, Dark. Let's let Chad up finish. Dark, we gotta let Chad up finish.
He asked me if I was listening. I am. As a person who has whose father's African American and a mother who's Haitian and Jamaican, there has never been a time that I sat at a table and heard some of the nonsense that just came out of your mouth. And you're an elder. You're an ancestor. Okay, you're older than me. So you are elder.
All right,
You're an elder. You're an ancestor. You're older than me.
Real
So
quick, hold on, everybody.
You hate black Americans.
Hold on, Dark. Give me a second. Dark.
Do I hate African Americans?
You have no respect.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay, so speaking of respect, if you see me go like this, I'm asking everybody on the panel to respect the fact that I'm the host, right? And that I want to say something to address either the panel or we're going to have a mod announcement, okay? So if we want to talk about respect, let's start there, right? And everybody should be muted when I'm speaking so we don't have feedback issues, right? And folks can get the clarity that I'm about to deliver, okay? I'm not on this time in regards to, right, dialogue between panelists, okay? We're going to have a flow. We're going to have a specific flow on how this works. Everybody gets time. When I feel like your time is up, period. I don't give a damn who you are, okay? That's how it's going to work. Next, we're going to go to Nichelle. We're going to get a mod announcement from Nichelle, okay? At the same time, I do want to say, if you do come up and disrespect women, okay, you disrespect folks on the panel, don't be surprised when they clap back. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with some of y'all. I really don't. Don't be surprised. Y'all got me irritated today. Go ahead, Nichelle. Mod announcement.
I just want to say, y'all better watch it because Smitty's on one today. When have we ever seen him like this?
Thank you, Erica.
The mods are amazing. This is Smitty's live, not his daycare. So conduct yourself accordingly. Please click on the orange heart by his name. Ain't no way with all the labor that he does, making a space for us to have these conversations, that the likes are so low. So let's get to tap in. Share, don't spam share. The algorithm doesn't like that. Just share to a couple people. I see a lot of y'all are engaged, but I'm looking at y'all and y'all don't have the orange heart by your name, which means you come in here day and day and day and day and day, and you listen, but you haven't clicked on the orange heart by his name. So we can all see that like in the chat, by the way. So click on the orange heart. Just a really quick update about Minneapolis as we're kind of going back and forth about this. I was just looking at some of the stats, Smitty, about what do people actually think? That was your original question, right? Well, what do people think about federal officials targeting immigrants? And Trump is losing ground with MAGA. His support has gone from 61% on January 8th to 38%. And so I think that's kind of interesting. A lot of people are talking about how Democrats are going to have to pivot for the midterms. They were focusing on healthcare and healthcare, I believe, and the economy. And now they're switching it to obviously this. The last thing I wanted to update.
Real quick, they want to just get a source. Some couple people in the chat.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. This is coming from AP. It's literally on their front page. It's Trump's approval on immigration down from March. Percent of U.S. adults who say they approve or disapprove of the way President Donald Trump is handling immigration. And so, yes, thank you guys for keeping me on that with the source. It's AP News. It's literally on the left panel of the screen right there. And it's really kind of talking about how Democrats are responding to this, right? A lot of people also are unhappy with how Democrats are, responding to this and how they're pivoting. And so it's in that article. But the last thing I wanted to point out is, I don't know if anybody missed this, but and if anybody thinks that this is not racial, I think, Smitty, you mentioned this the other day on your live about how he's using the EEOC, and actually they did like a little commercial saying that they're going to be helping white men specifically who have been the subject of what they call reverse racism and rolling back, civil rights protections. And so all of this is happening while the crackdowns are happening and we're having these conversations. And the DOJ has issued subpoenas for the mayor of Minneapolis and Tim Walz as well. So he's cracking down. This is not getting any better. So I just wanted to update y'all on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nichelle. Let me go to Spencer. Spencer, why do you support what ICE is doing in Minnesota. We'll go up to Spencer, and then we'll go down to Carolina.
I have a different perspective that from Black American FBA. Okay, now I support ICE because it helps reduces our competition for resources. If you investigate the entire planet on why they're deporting people back to the brown nations, Black and brown nations, is because of lack of resources. Because their hospitals, the money that they make, all that stuff is unemployment, all that is stressed in their host countries. So, but America, other countries just sending them back because America's trying to have some kind of like laws involved. That's what we're fighting over, the 14th Amendment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, but because America, we at least need an excuse. Other countries, they don't. They're just sending them back, okay, and closing down their borders, which I think we did too. So when they said black jobs, he didn't mean a specific jobs. He meant we are competing in the American landscape for resources. And when you have like if you notice they're trying to send back like the Chinese and the Asians, different Asian groups, it's because they're competing with white kids in academia, okay, and in the tech industry. And we unfortunately have to have the blue collar jobs, so we happen to be competing with the other groups, you know, the ones from the Caribbean diaspora and ones from Latin America. So this is why, I mean, this has been a long time coming, and we applauded it when Obama was sending a lot out, and it helps us with our situation here in America. And I know our resources, white America doesn't favor us that well. They favor these other groups. This is why we vote out the Democrats. But this is why I'm endorsing, and if you're around me, I will call ICE because it reduces my competition.
All right. Thank you, Spencer, for coming up. We're going to let you go. All right. Let me go to Carolina. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh God, Spencer. Anyway, real quick though, to the point, cause, I wanted everybody to note the talking points, the FBA talking points that Dark was, utilizing. So number one, and I'm just going to say this real quick and bring it back to topic. But number one, when he said the Taino ancestry of Haiti, I'm sorry, could you please go on mute? That would be great. Lovely. Thank you. There's virtually 0% Taino ancestry in Haiti. There is some trace ancestry there, but the majority of Tainos actually left to other neighboring islands because there was almost a complete Africanization of the island. And the majority of Haitians do not claim that pretendian Babel. They are very proud of their African ancestry. And as we've had several Haitians on the panel today proving that. So that I'm not sure where he was going with that point. Additionally, you guys got to like check for the coded language. He refuses to call himself African American. He uses the FBA buzzword delineate. So this is somebody who's definitely an agent of white supremacy and is not really invested in like what is actually happening to Black and brown communities, be they immigrant or, US born citizens. And then like also to Spencer's point, I think that like, when we reiterate those white supremacist talking points like black jobs and saying like blue collar, like this insinuation is dehumanizing to Black and brown communities because there are Black and brown people who are in the tech field. There are actually initiatives to get more Black and brown people into STEM positions. We are not only suited for manual labor. No disrespect to those who are doing manual labor, but saying that is trying to put us in our own kind of like caste system using that type of rhetoric. So it was very intentional when Donald Trump said that about black jobs. He was saying, we do not see you suited for anything other than these type of blue collar or low wage paying positions. And I will reiterate that if we look at the history of immigration policies and deportations over the past even 5 presidencies, not a single time, and you can look at the economic data for this, not a single time has this led to an increase in economic stability or jobs or unemployment decrease for the Black community. So again, that's a white supremacist talking point. But I do think that we should bring it back specifically to Minnesota on what's going on here, because it is all political. I was actually just at a meeting recently for the work that we do here in Indiana. And even though we have a significant population of immigrants, mostly from Latin American and African countries, we're not seeing the same level. We still are, making sure we're doing the rapid response for our communities and, notifying people of ICE sightings and what's going on. But because even though we're a very blue city in Indianapolis, we're in a red state. We have to remember that the impetus behind what is going on in Minnesota is a retaliation from the Trump administration because Minnesota did not vote for him. This man has repeatedly stated, made derogatory comments and personal attacks against states that did not vote for him in the election. And I will remind people, when you are elected to a federal office, such as the president and vice presidency, you are governing the entire country, not just the people who voted for you. So we are not seeing initiatives in border towns that are in red states to do the door to door, to invoke the Insurrection Act. This is absolutely a political move. And with this particular instance, because I noticed that some of the pro-ICE people who were up here earlier were saying, talking about the fraud. Do you guys care that the ringleader behind the alleged fraud, the $250 million fraud case that's going on in Minnesota, is a white woman? It's not a Somali person. It's not a Latino person. It is a white woman. So if we're going to address fraud, we need to address the root of fraud. And overwhelmingly, the statistics prove, especially when it comes to welfare cases, the perpetrators of fraud are white Americans. So if we're going to talk about this issue, let's talk about it authentically and bring sources. Facts over feelings. I'm sorry that your information is trash, bro, but facts over feelings matter.
All right, thank you. Let me, Aisha, I appreciate you, fam. Don't worry about it. Listen, let me go to Covey. Covey wants to jump in. And again, Van, I appreciate you. Nader, I appreciate you. Thank you. Let me go to Covey. Go ahead, Covey.
Yeah, can I show something, Smitty, to everybody who's saying that him targeting Minnesota is not racial? I do want to show a 1 minute clip of what he says, basically. Trump. I don't know if everybody saw this, but I do want to show. I feel like it is very important. If I could get the big screen, Smitty, if that's okay. Yeah. It's just 1 minute. It's from his, there we go.
And while you're ready, and Covey, I just wanted to say, Smitty, I'm just going to drop because I want to hear other voices. Thank you so much for having me on the panel. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to show this, by the way, for everybody who's saying it's not racial. Let's hear what he says.
Illegal aliens that, in many cases, they're murderers, they're drug lords, drug dealers, they're the mentally insane. There's some of them who are brutal killers, they're mentally insane. They're killers, but they're insane. These are just in Minnesota, California. It's worse. And nobody talks about the fact that $19 billion at a minimum is missing in Minnesota, given to a large degree by Somalians. They're taking it. Somalians, can you imagine? And they don't do it. A lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it. Other people work it out and they get them money and they go out and buy Mercedes Benzes and they come from here, they have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country. Because there's basically no country. Somalia is not even a country. They don't have anything that resembles a country.
How is this not racial, Smitty? This is just a complete dehumanization of it and disparaging of a whole community of people. First of all, to say 19 billion is sick, that's not even true, okay? I don't know where he's getting that number from. Tomorrow he's going to say 100 billion, right? To say 19 billion to me is sick, but also to just say low IQ, eugenics, basically, all the comments that he made, these are most definitely racialized comments. He's specifically targeting one group of people, dehumanizing. And I think that it's not a coincidence that while he's targeting this group of people, the UAE and America and Israel is trying to destroy their country back home in East Africa. So I do think that he's actively trying to manufacture consent to justify subjecting them and their country to all types of brutal violence. And I feel like people are falling for it, and it's very disappointing, especially to see Black people fall for it, because they know that these same types of mechanisms have been used against Black people. 1350, Smitty, you probably heard that. 1350, they're all criminals. They commit unalivings. Bell's curve, Black Americans have low IQ. Oh, the welfare queen, Black Americans are stealing money from the welfare system. These are literally rinse and repeat the same talking points that he's using against another group of people who are Black. So, I feel like people should know better.
Okay. Thank you, Kavita. I'm just going to jump order a little bit. Let me go to Robin. Robin, welcome to the panel. What are your thoughts on ICE in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think obviously what ICE is doing is they're not really giving people their proper due process. And I think that's the main issue that I think I take with it. I don't necessarily have an issue with the institution as a whole, more so just the way they're going about it. We've always had deportation, but it's just been very graphic and resembles a lot of, police brutality that we see in the community. But I came up for, I think it was like Covey's, I'm not sure who said it, but I do agree that it is racial, but some of the language that I'm hearing is kind of supporting it on the left. And I don't know if people are aware that they're doing it intentionally or not, like drawing the connection. So when you say, immigrants who come from, or refugees who come from countries who are destabilized by the U.S., then come to the U.S., it kind of feeds into the narrative that they are enemies of America, and therefore kind of justifies the selective targeting in comparison to, say, European immigrants who weren't victims of American imperialism. And that makes sense. You're basically like saying they would have motive to be enemies to our country.
So real quick, I want to hold that, and then that you said that was to Covey. Let me let Covey respond, but before I do, Covey, hold on to your response. Let me let Orchid, because I know Orchid typically comes up and has something important to say and then wants to drop, and then I want to kind of shorten the panel. And I do have a couple people that do agree with ICE, and I want to get them up and balance out the panel. So, but go ahead, Orchid, real quick, and I think Covey I'm sure you want to respond to Robin.
If Covey wants to respond, there's no issue. I just wanted to give my opinion on the situation, so I can wait. If that's okay.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, no rush.
Okay, yeah, all right. Go ahead. I think Covey and Catalina both want to respond.
Carolina, you can go first.
Okay, you're okay. Either or is fine. So this whole narrative of enemies of America, like I'm not sure how you're making that correlation. This isn't about an enemy of America. When we're talking about destabilization, that doesn't necessarily mean that these people all hate the United States. A lot of people in these countries aren't even aware initially what the U.S. role in destabilization is, and that's by design. So that doesn't make them enemies of America. What we're talking about is when the United States goes into these countries for regime change or whatever they want to call it, they are using certain tactics to destabilize the government. For instance, the United States overthrew the democratically elected president of Honduras and selected a right-wing dictator to put in its place, which then led to a genocide of indigenous people there, causing them to flee. A lot of times when people are fleeing, they're not doing it like, oh, the United States came in, so we're going to go in and screw up their country. They know where the resources are going. The extraction of resources by the United States is bringing it to the United States. So if any country is taking everything from you, and putting you in a perilous position where you are facing unalivement, hunger, economic strife and all of that, where are you going to go? You're going to go where those resources are going to. They're not going to go to another country that is experiencing the same destabilization. They're going to go to the country that is, where they have an opportunity for survival. So the United States is creating the United States is creating those conditions in their country, causing them to flee. I think that like you're insinuating that there's some sort of impetus there for like revenge when you label them as enemies of America. And that's not what it is. When we talk about what's going on in European countries, you know, most people, you can't get people to leave those countries. You look at like Sweden and places like that. They don't want to leave. They're not going to give up their free healthcare and their free education and all the benefits that they have. They don't care about coming to the United States. We're like a third world country compared to them. So it's not about some sort of animosity towards the United States. It's literally a survival mechanism. And we see that because all of the crime statistics prove that. People from these countries are not coming in and committing crimes at a high rate. It's US-born Americans who are committing the most crimes in this country. So if that were the case, we would see some sort of an influx in violent crime against American citizens from people of these nations, and that data does not exist. So I don't know why you would frame it that way when we're trying to talk about the very real-world implications of what U.S. intervention does to these countries.
Let's let Robin respond. Real quick. Let's let Robin respond, and then we'll bring Covey in. Dark, I'm gonna get a final response from you. So Robin, Covey, Dark, go ahead.
Sure thing. Yeah, no, I think it's a little contradictory to say that they are not aware of the U.S. impact to their country, but they are intentionally coming to the U.S. Like you are, if your direct path to the U.S. is because of an extraction of resources, then you are aware of the U.S. extracting your resources. Correct. So I think that was a little contradictory.
Real quick, that's not what I said, though.
You said most were not aware that of the U.S. implication.
Robin, what I said was they may not be aware of all of the how it's implemented, exactly what is being done. Because a lot of times we don't get those declassified documents until well after the fact, even in the United States, let alone them being aware of that. I said they're going where the resources are. They're going to where they have a shot at survival.
Right. So they are aware that the resources are being taken by the U.S.
I said the resources. I did not say all of that. Like when I'm talking about the mechanism.
Resources. I agree. You said
right,
that they are aware the resources are coming
quick, Robin.
from the US.
I want you to be able to respond, but I don't want you mischaracterizing what I said. So, for instance, if you take a country, and I used Honduras as an example, people when they were leaving Honduras may not have been initially aware of exactly what policies the United States implemented in order to overthrow their leader at that point in time. Due to declassified documents, everyone becomes aware of it. What I'm saying is they do know where the resources are going because that's common knowledge. So I said they may not be initially aware of all of the tactics that are utilized in destabilizing their country at that moment.
Got it. So they're not aware of the tactics, but they are aware of the resources being extracted from their country, but they don't know how. Is that a proper way to reiterate? I think so, right? They are aware of the resources, not the tactics. Anyway, so if they're aware of the resources being extracted from their country, I think when you make that differentiation between this is racial, I do agree. But that does feed into the motive and the narrative. And I agree that you're saying that the crime statistic doesn't necessarily correlate with that, but it's really just more so about what's feeding propaganda. More so than, because we know it's not necessarily based off of quote unquote facts, it's based off of messaging. So when you message and you parrot, hey, refugees who come from countries that were destabilized by the US can lead to motive of these people don't necessarily like our country for valid reasons, therefore furthering the message of ostracizing like a group of people. I only came up because I'm like, the messaging that you all are saying is not helping the situation by saying that they are now, it can be classified as being enemies of our country. And that's the messaging on the right, is that these are enemies of the country because of what the US has done to their country.
That sounds so stupid. That's like,
can I respond, please? That was actually addressing me.
Can I respond after?
Everybody go on mute. Stop.
I live in New York.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's let Covey go, and then we'll go to Dark, and then we'll go to Chat It Up. So Covey, Dark, Chat It Up.
Okay, so I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding here. The right wing, right, is their fear is not being produced by these causal explanations, okay? Their fear is being produced by racialization. Their fear is being produced by loss of white demographic dominance. Even if you do not tell them that, they will still have fear. because that fear is being stoked by this quote unquote culture war where they're believing that they're being replaced by people. Okay. So even if you say, they're fleeing from destabilization or they're not fleeing from destabilization, the right wing doesn't care. Because the right wing rhetoric, by the way, it already does assume that chaos exists abroad. What they're denying is their responsibility, right? So, Aimé Césaire, brilliant thinker. He wrote a book called Discourse on Colonialism to explain how the empire works. And this is called the imperial boomerang, by the way, right? Whatever these entities do in other countries, is gonna boomerang back to them. You wanna know why? America is rich. Why? Because it extracts resources. Europe is rich. Why? Because they extract resources. So the people that you're destabilizing have no other choice but to go to those areas that are stable, that do have jobs, for example, that have some type of security. And the reason as to why they are stable and have security is because you are causing destabilization elsewhere. This is that boomerang effect, right? It's called the imperial boomerang, right? Aimé Césaire writes about. So the imperial core extracts, it intervenes, it destabilizes. This causes displacement. And then because of the displacement, people are going to rationally try to follow to benefit their material conditions. When they do that, they move towards the imperial core, which is structurally produced to do so. Now, the reason as to why I say this, right? Right-wing discourse says immigrants are a threat that come from outside. When you say America is destabilizing the world, like destabilizing these countries, what you're basically saying is migration is a consequence of U.S. power operating abroad. What you do is you shift the causality away from the migrant is the issue onto the empire is the issue. And that is incredibly important. Because if you have, like the idea that if you acknowledge migration is cause and linked to instability, you're validating fear, that's not true. Because whether you validate it or not, that fear is still going to exist. Why? Because white people do not want to be the minority, right? But what you're doing in this case, right, is you're recentering America. Because a lot of people do deny responsibility of what America does. It's like, you know, when they talk about like, black victims of police brutality, they say, this person died. This person died. Who unalived them? Who is the subject here? They always, within these newspapers, if you notice, they always remove the subject. Who is doing the unaliving? A police officer is doing the unaliving, but they want to remove the subject of that sentence because they want to deny responsibility of the death. And I think it's incredibly important within the framing. And again, Robin, I do this, by the way. This was a part of my degree, by the way, right? I do this because I know that framing is incredibly important. Who is your targeted audience? What sentences are you using? And centering America and centering the West within immigration conversation and framing is incredibly important because you have to remove the immigrant from the center. Because if you keep centering the immigrant, you make it seem as if it's an individual issue, as if this immigrant is irrational and invading force, and you deny the accountability and responsibility that America needs to take in creating that immigrant in the first place. So I'm very careful with the words that I use.
Okay, let me do this. Robin, give me a second. I would normally let you respond, but there's a couple folks that I need to rotate.
We can move on. You can come back to me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you. Let's go to Dark Angel. Dark Angel, giving you a last opportunity to say whatever you would like. Go ahead. Feel free. You should be able to unmute, and then we'll go to Chat It Up next. And I want to
very fancy talk, but I live in New York. I challenge you to come to the Bronx and see the third world country that we created. We have people on mopeds robbing people, unaliving people, doing all kinds of stuff. I hear you, but listen, the people are tired of when we see the stats and they say this person, such and such, unalived the person, and when they go into jail, oh, they are black people. But when they get an award for something, they Haitian or whatever else they're supposed to be. We tired of y'all putting your stats on our names. We tired of all of that, man. We you know, the resources are slim, and we need what we need. Our people are from the land. We want we want what's ours, man. And you got to go make your country great, as they say, and all that. You got to go fight, get an unalived, put your blood into the soil to build up your own country like we did here. My people been in every war since this country's inception. And this is our thing right here, man. And right now, you know, we understand. We know that they destabilize people. We understand all that. But you're gonna have to make your own spot. You're gonna have to know how to network with people, and you can't come in with. Sometimes y'all come in with the same mindset as being an invader and hoping that, you know, it is what it is, man. I gotta go, man.
All right. Thanks, Dark. All right, we're gonna let Dark go, and we'll go to Chat It Up, and then we'll go to Orchid, and then Brad, give me a second. I'll bring you up after Orchid gets done. Go ahead, Chat It Up. Go ahead, fam.
I want to say, first of all, I'm sorry, I'm a little delayed, but I can't believe this ancestor just got up here and said mopeds and third well and say something. I just want to say Kobe cleared it up. Kobe cleared it up perfectly. It's, to me, perfectly. It's like this. I feel like a lot of you guys are scared that what America has done to other countries, you guys are scared that when the immigrants come here, they're going to do the same thing to you guys. That's why you guys are specifically targeting black and brown people instead of the Caucasian immigrants, because you guys are afraid, just like you guys are afraid that African American people are going to eventually stand up and do the same thing to you guys. I think so what she said was right. It is racially motivated. So you actually prove her point by even stating that, oh, so then therefore then they can be an enemy of America. That doesn't even fucking make no sense. How can we be an enemy of America when we're minding our own business? You came and destabilized our country, took resources, and now we're coming over here to also use the resources that you took from us. Now you're upset. You see how that doesn't make sense? But besides all of that, I just want to ask one question and I'm gonna drop. Can somebody please explain to me what FBA is? Is that like Fat Bitches Association, Fat Bitches Anonymous? Like,
No,
what is
no.
is it?
I will explain. And I want to say this to all the FBAs and ADOSs, okay? ADOS is a movement, American descendants of slavery. FBA is Foundational Black Americans. I understand. Please hear me when I say this as a Black woman, a very, very pro-Black woman. We are fighting the wrong people. I understand your pain point. I understand you on an intellectual level. Okay, I do. But we are fighting to target what the target immigrant communities is the wrong tactic. Okay, I understand that. The whole idea. I'm so sorry, I don't know your name with the Squidward name. I'm so sorry.
It's QL. You can call me QL.
Okay, sorry. Thank you, sis. The whole reason that this started was the idea that somehow African Americans, specifically the culture, was being erased. It's been appropriated and all of these things. So I won't go into all that, but I see so many, when we talk about immigration, and Smitty, you and I have talked about this, it is a very delicate pain point for a lot of African Americans. Please don't misunderstand me. Understanding is not like agreeing or acceptance. I'm saying I understand the talking points of where but I don't agree with it 1000%. And we've got to stop doing that. But yes, FBA is Foundational Black Americans, and it oftentimes you'll see ADOS in the chat as well. So that's where that's coming from. But yeah. Please stop doing that, y'all. Please.
All right. Shut up. I'm going to let you go, sis. Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you for letting me up. Thank you for explaining. I got to go. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, fam. Absolutely. And then we're going to go to Orchid. And then let's get a couple of people up. Let's see. Where'd they all go? That's so weird. Okay. Go to Orchid. Go, fam.
Okay, thank you for having me up, Smitty. I wanted to say that the more I think about it, I don't really think that this is about immigration enforcement. I think it's about power responding to humiliation. And the reason that I say that is because Minnesota isn't just a location in the story, it's a symbol. And I think that it's important that we look at the situation that happened after the unaliving of George Floyd. And I think that those protests are a symbol. And Minneapolis became a global marker of public defiance, of a community refusing to absorb violence quietly, of a state power being exposed rather than obeyed. That moment did something lasting. It cracked the image of the unquestioned authority that Trump wants to portray. And he remembers that moment. He remembers that moment where he seemed weak in the face of a population, and that his popularity failed. When authority is publicly challenged, especially on a world stage, it rarely responds with humility or reform. It responds with escalation, not to solve the original harm, but to restore dominance, not to protect people, but to protect the story it tells about itself. This is where ICE comes in. ICE is being used less as an immigration agency and more as a proxy of force, a visible militarized reminder of federal control in a place that once said no to Trump. The tactics are not about efficiency, they're about intimidation. They are about reasserting hierarchy in community that has disrupted it. History shows us this pattern quite clearly. Force increases after legitimacy is weakened, not when it's secure. There's no reason to use force if you're legitimate and you're powerful and you know that your power stands. Crackdowns follow exposure. Surveillance follow protest. Punishment follow resistance. Fear drives urgency, and urgency justifies, for them, brutality. Psychologically, this makes sense. Humiliation is destabilizing to power. It creates a need to reestablish control quickly and visibly. Force becomes attractive because it creates the illusion of order, even when it deepens the fracture underneath. This is not a form of governance. It is retaliation dressed up as enforcement. And the irony is this. The more force is
Smitty, what's
used-
going on? Is this ChatGPT? Smitty, what's going on?
No, let's not do that, Brad. What's
going on, man? Okay.
Whatever.
The more force is used, the more it tells us that the authority here is insecure. And we see it because every time he sees that he is getting some kind of pushback, he reinforces the violence. And the reason that he chose Minnesota is definitely, in my opinion, because of George Floyd. But I lost my flow because I was interrupted, so I'll leave that at that. Thank you so much for having me up, Smitty.
Of course, fam. Thank you so much for coming up. Real quick, let me just say, why is it wrong for somebody to actually be prepared to come up and speak? I appreciate that as a moderator. Honestly, it's nice to hear someone that took the time to prepare something that they wanted to speak about and came up and said it. So when Orchid, even if she said something that I completely disagree with, I appreciate that. That shows us respect to the platform that she was ready and prepared. I got no problem with that.
Smitty, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I apologize from the. Okay, listen, I'm trying to stay calm here, and I'm saying this to you specifically, Brad. I have my drop button ready. Listen, I can't even speak. The way you disrespected Carolina the last time you were up here, I don't even know why you even bothered to come up here. And I'm telling you right now, the racial shit you did last time to women of color on this panel, you better stay on topic. You better not interrupt, and you will be dropped. I'm so dead ass today. Like I'm so dead ass today. You have been beyond problematic racially. So if you cannot stick to the talking point and say without interrupting and insulting Latinas, Muslims, African American, if you can't do that today, drop.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Go ahead, Brent.
Nichelle, so I think you're referring to me speaking Spanish. That has nothing to do with race. That's a language. You can be white, black, brown, Asian. Speaking Spanish is not racially driven. So there's nothing.
It's not what you did.
Okay, so you're muting.
That's not.
Okay.
I didn't mute you. That's not what you did. I'm not going to drag it up. You know what you did. That's all I'm saying. Continue.
It's hard to continue when you're consistently being muted. But really, what I came up here for was to speak about ICE. I'm not sure how this kind of circulated back to George Floyd, but I think the most polarizing thing right now that's going on is that we have never seen this level of publicity, media, representation, videos, snaps, TikToks, posts on Instagram about ICE, about these interactions with ICE, about the protests, about the interference, the retaliation of protesters being violent, the violence that ICE is portraying. This is a very crazy time, and to ever compare this to any time in history would be disingenuous. And so I think like having this conversation, it's very clear like why there's such a divide is because people are creating the divide with videos and social media, and it's becoming like a trend to like go out there and purposefully interfere and get in the way of ICE agents. I don't understand how this is like confusing or nuanced in any way. It's very clear. ICE has been around for a long time.
No, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. Declan, when was ICE established?
ICE was made in 2003, so I'm 36.
Right, so 23 years. Was there social media in 2003?
Yes, it was.
There was social media in 2003?
It definitely was.
Oh, there was videos and social
I'm 36
on social
years
media?
old, I would know, sir.
Okay, let's do this.
Can you show me a source?
Real quick. Give me a second, Brett. So
Yeah.
Brad made the point around, he feels like this is a sensational time. People are making videos that there's a very heightened time. Declan, brother, go ahead if you want to respond to that, and then we'll drop it.
Yes, I would love to respond to this. Smitty, good morning. Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is my favorite topic as of recently because of you guys. ICE was made in 2003. I'm 36 years old in August. I would know. And to Brad's question, the answer is yes. It may not be Twitter, it may not be MySpace, but it was definitely Yahoo Messenger and MSN. Though a minuscule part of social media, but social media nonetheless. The reason why we haven't been talking about ICE as much as we have, well, this is the first time we've been talking about ICE as much as we have in the last 23 years is because ICE is attacking citizens. You dragged an autistic woman, you dragged a pregnant woman, you even shot a flashbang in a family of 6 hospitalizing kids. Right? And Black Planet. Thank you, Black Planet. Thank you, Black Planet. Yes. So that's the issue, what I'm having with ICE. Clearly, even within the last 17 or 18 years have I been on direct social media, we've never spoken about ICE because ICE always took care of who they took care of, and that was it. The difference is we all have camera phones now, right? We started to have camera phones in 2009. And the issue with that was, actually, that's not even an issue. That's actually one of the best few things about social media because we all see what's going on. Our camera phones are a magnifying glass. And the reason why we shitting on ICE like this is because ICE doesn't have the integrity to do their jobs. ICE is not the police. ICE is not the fucking police. Excuse my language, but ICE is not the police. Again, if you want to take care of If you want to take care of the immigrants, that's fine. But don't just drag an old man out his house and he like half naked, whatever, and you think you're doing a good job and you think we in your way. No, your job is to take care of immigration, not the citizens of the United States. Why are you detaining a pregnant woman? Why are you detaining an autistic woman? Why are you going to people's elementary schools to pick up undocumented immigrants' children? Why are you doing that? That is crazy.
I agree with you.
Let's let Brad get a quick retort, and then we'll go to Carolina. Go ahead.
If Smitty, if you don't mind, if me and Declan can have like a quick back and forth, like I don't want to monologue, but I just want to have a conversation with him real quick.
Go ahead.
If that's cool. Okay, cool.
To have a back and forth, go ahead.
Yeah, Declan, I completely agree with you. So we're on the same page. I think ICE, as far as the interactions with U.S. citizens, is heinous. It's deplorable, and it's terrible. The reason why I brought up, and you mentioned it as well, the smartphones and the influx of social media content and the ability to view social media and discourse, such as this panel right here, is causing more and more people, specifically U.S. citizens, to interfere with ICE operations. So what happens when you're a law enforcement agent and you're trying to do your job and you have U.S. citizens that are paying your salary, interfering with your job and taunting you and terrorizing you and making your job very difficult, these ICE agents begin to get on edge and they become more defensive and more retaliatory. And so this has never happened before. Don't act like ICE since 2003 has been tormented by its own citizens in the country that they're trying to serve. This is a new thing where U.S. citizens are retaliating against these ICE agents and making it almost impossible for them to carry out the duties that you're saying that they should be, which is deporting illegal migrants.
Yeah, let me let him respond to that. Go ahead, Declan. If you want to respond to that, then I gotta let Carolina come in. Go ahead.
All right, Brad, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, so
you're not that much older.
Yeah, I was about to say that ain't really too bad. All right, cool.
No.
So the thing about it is, right? The thing about it is this. So I've been on Twitter since 2009. I've been on MySpace since 2006, whatever. So obviously, you know, with the whole ICE situation, nobody's getting in your way. You are not, when I say you, I'm not saying you, I'm saying ICE. I know. You're right. ICE is the one that is lacking integrity. Your job is to do this one particular thing. I've never heard ICE in my early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, late teens, heard ICE go into people's school and pick up children, 6-year-old, 3-year-old children. I've never seen that before. So of course people going to talk about it.
Yeah.
If you didn't do that to begin with, we would not be talking about it. And Obama deported a lot of people, but we never spoke about what ICE has done. Why is that? And we had smartphones then too.
Yep. So the reason why, and you're correct, Obama deported many more immigrants than Trump has. The thing is that this is not anti-ICE, Declan. This is anti-Trump. This is anti-Trump. We have to be real.
Let me do this real quick, y'all. Hold on, real quick. I want to let y'all have a quick back and forth. Okay. Let me let Carolina in, but to Brad's point, I want to focus on what he just said. So I'm asking Carolina what Brad just said. Carolina, do you feel like these protests are anti-ICE, or do you feel like they're anti-Trump? And then I want to let Robin get an opportunity, and then we'll go to Swan and get Swan's comment. But I actually think that's an interesting question. Do you think what's happening is anti-ICE or anti-Trump? What do you think, Carolina? Carolina, you're on mute, fam, if you're there. All right, she probably stepped away. All right, let me go to Robin. Robin, do you want to opine on that? If you want to, feel free. You feel like one is anti-ICE or anti-Trump? What do you think? The protest?
I think it's both. I think 2020 obviously brought a little bit more exposure into the over-policing that people may have not been privy to prior. And so I think this is somewhat remnants of that a little bit, where you're getting the response that's a little bit similar in terms of the protests. And they're trying to make like correlations between ICE and police. So I think it's a little bit of both. Just the sentiment around our government's overreach and how they're doing policing. And then I do agree that it is more so ramped up because of the Trump administration being the one carrying this out. And, you know, immigration has been a big part of his platform. So even when you compare it to Obama, he did carry out majority of I would say within the last 10 years, majority of the deportations. However, it wasn't something that he stood on. Like, it wasn't a part of his platform. So it didn't garner a lot of attention, in my opinion, the way that it is with Trump. So
Okay.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Can I respond to that, Smitty?
Yeah, give me 1 second, Bradley, because Carolina just came back, and I'll let you in, and then we'll go to Swan.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Carolina. You're because again, for the folks that don't know why I'm kind of highlighting what Brad said, this has been, from what I've heard from the conservative side, kind of the crux of their argument that, you know what, anytime y'all can make Trump look bad, that's what y'all want to do. It's not about immigration enforcement. It's about just making Trump look bad. So to the people that are wondering why I'm continuing this piece of the discussion, this is what I've heard from many folks on the conservative side. Go ahead, Carolina, your response.
Honestly, if Brad wants to go first, because I'm sure he's going to add some points that I'm going to want to touch on. So I can wait. He can go first.
Go ahead, Brad. Your response to the Robin. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So Robin, yeah, no, I agree with pretty much everything that you're saying. Like, the problem is that that one piece of incorrect information is that Obama absolutely stood on immigration. That was one of the strongest things that he believed in and that he ran on and that he implemented during his 8 years in presidency. Like he was the deporter in chief. Like that it was a huge milestone for him. So I'm not sure where that's coming from, but yeah, I stand by my statement. Carolina, there's not much else to add. I really think that this is more anti-Trump, and the social media aspect is really polarizing that anti-Trump rhetoric more so than anti-ICE, right? If you keep interfering with ICE, bad things are going to happen, and we've seen that. And I've said this time and time again. I do not think that Renee Nicole Good should have been unalived. That was a terrible thing that happened. It's almost like the left is pushing and poking the bear, and they want to see what the reaction is going to be to have these these national events occur, to then say, I told you how bad ICE is. I told you how detrimental Trump is. I told you. It's like, that's what happens when you consistently and persistently attack a group that is a federal agency trying to do their job. And we have never seen this kind of interference by the public, by U.S. citizens.
Hold on. Let's let Carolina come in, and then I want to go to Swan.
Okay.
And then Michelle, I'll try to work you into. Go ahead.
Yeah. So fantastic. I'm glad you added those pieces to that, because I definitely want to respond. So number one, no, there is categorically a difference. To say that Obama, that this was part of his agenda, he did not campaign on it, which is why a lot of us who voted for him were extremely disappointed in his actions in becoming deporter in chief, and why we were taking to the streets protesting under his administration as well. A lot of people like to say that wasn't happening. I personally protested during that administration, because I believe when I vote for somebody, they need to be held accountable to my vote. And so I also I really hate when you guys call Democrats the left. It's like so insulting to those of us who are actual leftists. But, so no, we were absolutely protesting. And I believe on Erica's panel the other night, we literally brought up the news sources and the footage of people protesting during that administration. And so that's just false. The issue, again, it's not about being anti-Trump. Like, yes, I state all day on this app, I hate Trump. I hate all white supremacists. I don't like Republicans at all. I'm different, though. I'm not speaking for everybody. So I do hate them. However, there's a reason for it. It's not like I just said, oh, you're orange and your hair looks crappy, so I dislike you. It's because of the rhetoric and the actions that this person takes primarily against Black and brown communities, even prior to being in politics. So it's not about hatred for someone. It's about how things are being processed. Now, again, I think Swan and I are on the same accord. Like, we're anti-ICE, we're anti-borders. As an Indigenous person, I'm always going to be anti-borders. However, there is a difference between not allowing due process and what is happening. So under the Obama administration, we can look at a majority of the people who were being targeted were either border entries or people who had criminal records. When we look at this most recent Trump administration, you can look, there's a graph, and I believe, I'll have to get the sources on it. One of them is definitely the Council for Immigrant Rights. you can look at the graph. Prior to Trump taking office this last time, there are 3 lines on the graph. The highest line is people who are being detained or arrested with who have criminal convictions. The line right underneath that is people who have been charged with a crime. And the line below that, the lowest, is people with no criminal record. These lines are pretty stagnant, going in like basically a horizontal, trajectory. As soon as Trump takes office, all 3 of these lines spike to a dramatic increase. But they're still staying in the same order. Now, once Stephen Miller issued his quota last summer and stated that he wanted ICE agents to make 3,000 arrests per day, that is when we see the bottom line, which is people with no criminal conviction, surpass both of those other lines. So to make up 76% of all detainments in the year 2025 were people with no criminal record. Additionally, we see an increase in people who are legally living here, whether they be residents or United States citizens, naturalized or U.S. born, being caught up in these detainments. That all ties into the SCOTUS ruling, allowing for racial profiling, allowing to go after people with certain types of accents. And this is, again, not conjecture. You can read the SCOTUS ruling yourself. There are 4 components that they allowed in that: to do it based on race and ethnicity, to do it based on if they spoke another language, and then also to base it on whether they were in low income jobs. So this is a completely stark difference to when Obama was in office. So I don't, and the last, I'll land right here, Smitty. So sorry.
I'd love to respond to you. It's a lot of points. I'm trying to keep track.
So I'm landing my last point because I'm also responding to all your points. The last thing, when you said attack, using this type of inflammatory language is absolutely insane. People are protecting their neighborhoods. A majority of the time, no, there are not direct attacks on ICE agents. The videos we see, more of anything, it's just people protecting their neighborhoods or people even clowning ICE agents, whatever's going on. This happens. This has been happening. This happened when ICE was INS. There's always been a resistance towards this type of policy. So to say that it's brand new is just simply false.
Okay, Brad, quick response.
Yeah, so Carolina, you're really good at like twisting my words and making what I say extreme. I never said that this has never happened. I said we have never seen it on the level that we see it now. I also want to bring up a point that you brought up earlier. You said that in Denmark and Sweden and some of those countries, people don't want to leave. What percentage of those countries are like Swede natives and Danish natives? It's 85 to 90% white. So I'm very confused. Like, I'm asking this in a genuine way. Do you dislike white people?
I've been very, well, number one, I've been very adamant that I'm not a fan of colonizers, whatsoever. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm American Indian. Like, am I supposed to like the people who are still occupying my land and oppressing my people?
So like me, someone who's never done anything to you and we've never met. Do you dislike me because I'm white?
I don't care for you, but I don't dislike you on a personal level. But that's not the point.
Okay,
the point is,
back to my point.
Is those people are from those countries, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to leave because of the way that their economic and political atmosphere is there. They benefit from that. They like it.
Why can they have that? Because they have strong borders.
That's incorrect.
It actually absolutely is correct.
There's no U.S. intervention or destabilization going on in those countries. So we can't say that it's due to strong borders.
Why don't we intervene? There's a reason.
There is a reason. Would you like to tell me what it is?
Yes.
Go for it.
Because it's 85 to 90% white. That's
right.
Why.
So you're admitting that it is racially motivated.
Is there a correlation between low violence and low crime in those nations and the rate of happiness in those nations due to like the predominantly being 85 to 90% Swede and Danish natives in those countries?
God.
You think there's no direct correlation?
Oh my God. Are you literally going to use a white supremacist talking point and insinuate that black and brown people are more violent?
Nope. Not what I'm doing. I'm asking you a question.
Where are you going with that?
Can you answer the question? Because I'm just asking you why do we not intervene? Why are people in those nations not leaving? Right? Like what's the reason?
I'll be happy to answer, but did everybody else on the panel hear it that way?
Sure heard it that way. I'm trying to be respectful. I'm trying to be respectful, but I told y'all.
So you can say that. I'm just curious, like, why aren't people leaving and why aren't we intervening with those nations?
We're not intervening for two reasons. Number one, again, yes, they're predominantly white. White supremacy doesn't tend to go after other white people on a general basis. Number two, Latin America, we're not exploiting those countries. The United States has never had some sort of an agenda to go into.
How about Greenland?
One second.
How about Greenland?
One second.
Okay.
And I this would be very long if I were to go down this route, but we're not doing a history education right now, so I'll make it super succinct. The main reason why Europeans colonized the entire globe is because they lived in a resource deficit in their nations, and that they lived on a greed-based model. So they go into Africa, exploit those resources. They come to the Americas, exploit those resources. They did not have these resources. It's the same reason why we didn't see American Indians or Africans traversing the globe to colonize other continents, because we lived in resource-rich environments. We didn't have a need to leave our homelands. So that being said, we know that that's the entire reason why white people colonized the whole globe. So why would the United States go into nations that are not resource rich, that they do not see an economic benefit for, in order to destabilize them? That's why they're going into Latin America. They're taking the resources, and they also do not want leftist movements to succeed in their backyard, because they want to be able to maintain that imperialist power structure. There is no there is no reason to go into the European nations to do so. They do not benefit from it. That is the primary reason, along with white supremacy and racism. So you literally just proved our point.
All right, let me let Swan come in. Give me 1 second, Brad. Let me let Swan come in. I'll give you another
drop, dude. I can drop. I can just say one thing and drop if you want.
Okay, let me let Swan get her opening comment, and then Brad, you can say you're last. And okay, go ahead, Swan.
Yeah, I heard exactly what you heard, Carolina. This is 100% white supremacy in the maintenance period, right? So I talk about this all the time. When we take a step back and we witness what's happening in this country, and we pay attention to what's happening globally, we are watching white supremacy reestablish itself, right? Now, we have people like Brad that will say things like, oh, we didn't create this. Like, this isn't something that I created. I'm not responsible for this. But they're sure as hell comfortable living with it and acknowledging it, right? They also have not done anything, right, to get rid of these hierarchies. They haven't done anything to dismantle these systems. What we are seeing is the powers at be, right, enforce and push the fact that they have a monopoly on violence, right? People are not protesting for no reason. Let's be for real. I almost cursed. I'm sorry, Smitty. I don't want to curse on your channel. But let's be for real. People don't just go and protest and interfere for no reason. When people's rights are infringed upon, you are going to see a reaction. People are human beings. The only people that can sit up here like Brad on a panel and say, well, yeah, the powers that be are just going to become more dangerous to you. We're just going to throw more gas bombs into your car. We're just going to unalive more people like Renee Nicole Good. We're just going to send more children into a hospital. We're just going to make sure that we have to resuscitate more babies, right? So we can do our job better because people want to protest. No, we have a right to protest, right? People respond to their environments, and that is what we are witnessing. For you to sit here and say that they're doing this because the left is on edge and is causing these problems tells me that you have consumed nothing factual and everything is propaganda. That is what we are seeing right now. We are seeing the result of people that are propagandized. The fact that these people look like they are military, right? The fact that these people are constantly messing up and costing citizens and undocumented migrants their lives, because they shouldn't even be treating undocumented migrants this way, right? We are watching them terrorize people. We're watching them terrorize people. You cannot tell me that there's any level of protesting that would warrant an ICE agent to throw a flash bomb into a vehicle and send 6 children into a hospital. You cannot tell me, right, that protesting, right, has warranted ICE agents unaliving Keith Porter, unaliving Renee Nicole Good. 6 days after she's unalived, in the same area, right, a couple blocks away, they got a woman who's being pulled out of a vehicle who has a disability, right? She's not sure as to what she should be doing. Why? Because they are giving her conflicting orders the same way that they did with Renee Nicole Good. And you have the audacity to sit up here and genuinely say that it is because people are protesting. It is because the left wants to, wait until I'm done. It is because the left wants to get involved. That is BS. That is BS. That is not what's happening. What we are seeing, as Carolina said, ever since Stephen Miller said we need to arrest and get rid of 3,000 undocumented migrants a day, you are seeing them now terrorize people. You are also seeing, now that they've been given the ability to racially profile people, right? They're doing their job even more sloppily. And who are they targeting? Because it's not white people. It is not white people that they're targeting. It is black and brown people. It is people who are not white, people with accents. And all of us, right? All of us are not undocumented. And even if they are undocumented, they still have a right to a process. They still have constitutional rights. The wildest part about this is that they have chosen to categorize the people that have been living on this land for thousands of years, in that group that they can racially profile and try to deport. It is nonsensical. It is madness. The fact that you can honestly sit up here and say that it's because of the left. Stop, I'm talking.
Yeah, let's want to finish. Let's want. And Brad, I'm coming back to you.
It is nonsensical for you to sit here and say that it is because of the left. That is BS. Now I'm going to ask the same question that I've been asking everybody that can not one person answer that disagrees with my take and the take of people who can see the humanity in others, right? And that is this. What behavior has changed when it comes to undocumented migrants that warrants such an extreme response from ICE agents and for them to back, right, to be backed by this administration? What has changed about their behavior? What are they doing differently that has warranted this extreme of a response to where they are now unaliving citizens? Even if protesters interfere, there is still a chain of command. It's the responsibility of police officers to deal with, not ICE agents, not ICE agents to take into their own hands. This is ridiculous. You are racist, and that's what this comes down to. You don't care about black and brown people. You're racist. Go ahead and respond.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brad. I think you said you wanted to leave, so go ahead. You can respond.
Yeah. After that 10 minutes, what we got to is that I'm racist. Okay. So you're asked a question. You said, what has changed with immigrants that warrants this kind of retaliation and this violence? It is not the immigrants' fault. Listen to me when I say this. It is not the immigrants' fault. It is the fault of the citizens of this country that are causing this violence and interfering with ICE, making it so much more difficult for these immigrants and their lives and their kids and their wives and their husbands. You are the problem. You need to understand, you are causing this. It is not the immigrants' fault. We have been doing this for 23 years with ICE. It is only now that U.S. citizens are interfering and causing this type of violence and divide between ICE and U.S. citizens. Then that is leaching and bleeding over to immigrants, and it is making everything way worse. It is not the immigrants' fault.
Let's let Brad finish.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for these undocumented migrants. I feel so bad. Honestly, it is not their fault. You are causing ICE to be so much more of a force to be reckoned with and divisive and violent. They fear every day they go out. They fear for their lives and they fear for being doxxed and being blown up on the internet by all of you that are trying to get them unalived and hurt and injured. You are making this situation way worse. So no, I am not racist at all. The question I asked Carolina, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, was that my question regarding those Danish and Swedish nations is that it is not about race. They lack the resources, Carolina, like you stated. I agree with you. We are actively trying to take Greenland because of resources and a global play, which is a predominantly white nation, by the way. It has nothing to do about race. Oh, it's majority of it is Inuit. Are you going to tell me? What percent of Greenland is Inuit versus white? It's not true. It's not true. So I'm going to say this and I'm going to end and I won't drop down. I'll let you respond. I have a work call I have to get on at 1:30. I feel very, very bad for these undocumented migrants. I really do because and I'm saying the left and Democrats and whoever it is, honestly, whoever it is going out there and protesting and making it so difficult for these men and women.
I don't know who did that, but real quick, I just wanted to point out, you guys, he said that it wasn't happening before. I said it was. He said, I'm not saying it wasn't happening before. And then he just doubled down and said it's only now. Okay, that's all I wanted to point out. He's a liar.
So Maj, just give me a heads up before the drop if y'all could, please. Okay, so Maj, just give me a heads up before you drop so I can address with the panelists. All right. Let me go to I think Nichelle.
Oh shit, okay, my bad.
I think Nichelle
Greenland
wants to
is
say
over
something.
80% indigenous, but anyway, I digress.
I wanted to respond to him too, but I guess I had to leave.
I just wanted to
Yeah, let me
go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Nichelle.
I was just going to say the shout out to all the amazing people who are standing on business, going out in the cold, standing up for their community, standing up for humanity. I don't believe or agree with anything that Brad said, that kind of insinuating that, or I won't say Brad because he's not up here, but anybody who thinks like that. Anybody who believes that protesters being out there is harming the immigrant community, just the same way with Gaza when they opened up their phones and showed the world what was going on. These brave, amazing protesters in Minneapolis, in LA, all over the place that are opening up their cameras and sharing with the world with the video. We wouldn't have known about Renee Nicole Good had it not been for somebody opening up their camera, somebody standing up for humanity. So I disagree. I think if ICE is quote unquote supposed to be doing their job, they need to be doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. And they're not doing that. And the fact that not only that, Smitty, the fact that there are so many videos out there, it contradicts what DHS and Kristi Noem are actually trying to say. So shout out to all the protesters. Continue to do that. Stay safe and everything, but for the love of God, continue to do that. I fundamentally disagree with what Brad was trying to insinuate, that the fact that protesters are out there, it's making ICE be more aggressive and harming the immigrant community. I disagree with that.
Okay. Go ahead, Declan, and then I actually also do have to run as well. But yeah, again, just let me know when you're going to drop somebody, so I can give them a warning. Okay, as to why, right? If they're up against the line, that would be helpful for me. Go ahead, Declan.
Yeah, I do agree with the whole panel, and I guess with Brad's point, even I don't agree with him by no metric. Just letting y'all know that right now. He wants like the protesters to just get out the way and they could just go into these people building and just take these people family away. It's like slave patrol. Why would I want slave patrol to take away families? And as I said to him earlier, right? I didn't hear this at 16, Smitty. 16 now is 2006. I didn't hear this at 16. I didn't hear this at 20. I didn't hear this at 24. You want to know why? The reason is because, to an extent, they were doing their jobs. They were actually doing their jobs. And yes, Brad, it is a race thing. It's always been a race thing since 1452. Y'all created race, the concept of race and racism, to do exactly this. I've never heard of a white tea country being destabilized because of race. You went to Guatemala, you went to Iraq, you went to Afghanistan, you went to Jamaica, you went to every other country that it was a black and brown country to destabilize them, right? I'm going to land my plane by saying this. The citizens are not causing the divide. It's more so your man's made this about immigrants since he first stepped on the scene. In 2016 or 2015, he stepped on the scene talking about immigrants, and now he has no checks and balances to do whatever the hell he want to do. And that's the issue. And you want black and brown people and any other citizen that has integrity to just move out the way. And we're not doing that. So of course, if ICE is gonna take away all of everybody's liberties as soon as even the undocumented immigrants step here, they're gonna fight back. If ICE were to just take away the bad guys like how they should be within the last 10 or 20 years, we would not be having this conversation. And in 2020, of course, people were fed up because guess what? You are over policing us. And that's the problem. And I'll land my plane.
All right. Thank you, Declan. Let's go to Swan. And actually, we'll go to Robin first. Let's go to Robin. Then we'll go to Swan. I think that's going to be it. I also do have to run. But please tap the screen. I got some very, very, very exciting news that I'm going to be able to share. Hopefully early next week, you guys are going to be like, wow. Okay. But I can't share it yet. Trust me. It's kind of hard not to be able to talk about it, but y'all going to be like, oh my goodness. Okay. Positive news about the platform, but I can't quite say it yet. Robin, go ahead, and then we'll go to Swan, and I think that'll be it, y'all.
Sure thing. Yeah, like I said, I think I agree with most of the sentiments of the panel as well. I think one thing that I guess you can't speak about people, but I guess people who have the mentality, they tend to overshadow ICE's contribution to the current, environment, while also acknowledging that, citizens do support ICE as well. So it's like you really can't have both without that criticism. You're going to need to hold ICE accountable for their method of detaining. And I think we also need to, assess whether or not, to the extent you do involve yourself into their operations as well. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, Robin, appreciate that. We're gonna go to Swan. Chrissy, thank you so much, fam. Appreciate you. Anything else you want to say? Then we're gonna close it out. I'll say one quick thing, and then we'll close it out, fam.
Absolutely. I just want people to pay attention. Black people know this very well. Indigenous people know this very well, right? When we talk about the ways in which those that have power, then who have a monopoly on violence, and the fact that they will use that to maintain white supremacy, to maintain capitalism, this is how they go about the preservation of these things, right? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that here happening in this country right now. These are things that some of our grandparents dealt with, or some of our great grandparents dealt with. And it's unfortunate. The fact that you have people justifying the heinous acts that ICE has been committing onto human beings is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. I just want to give a little parallel real quick, okay? I worked as a teacher full-time in a school. When I was full-time in the classroom, I remember there was an incident where a child was left on a bus. And when I tell you, before we stepped foot into that building the next day, they had alarms on the buses so that they could do a specific type of a bus check, where they would have a person in the front who would tap a buzzer, and the only way that that buzzer would turn off was if you walked all the way to the back of the bus. And there was a process, and they recorded this process. And then when the bus got back to the school, they had an administrator come down and check each and every bus. When they messed up, when someone was left, there was a child left on the bus, and this happened they were left on the bus for an hour, but still, nonetheless, they changed the protocol, right? So that nothing bad would happen again. We are not seeing ICE being held accountable for the things that they are doing that are outside of what their responsibilities are. Has anybody heard about this officer that unalived Keith Porter been arrested yet?
No.
Do we know anything about what took place with the officer after everything that happened with Renee? What about the ICE agent that sent the children to the hospital? We are not seeing a result. We are not seeing their behavior checked. All we're hearing from people like Brad, and he's not the only one. There are many more like him. This entire administration is backing him. We are not seeing these people checked for what they are doing to us. And this is not okay. It's not all right. You got a woman being pulled out of her vehicle who has a disability. I believe she had TBI, right? She says that she heard conflicting commands from ICE agents. They don't even have it together themselves. They don't even have it together themselves. So yes, you are going to continue to see people protesting. And I stand with anybody that's protesting. And I think that people should continue to protest because it's our right to stand up for ourselves. People should not be allowing ICE agents to do whatever the hell it is that they want. Now, let me say this too. If it was just the protesters that were actually causing all of these issues, right? ICE they don't have to respond this way. You can just address the people that are protesting. It doesn't warrant ICE agents to go and off people and do whatever the hell that they want to do. It shouldn't work like that. No human being that can see the humanity in themselves and the humanity in others is going to stand for something like that. So for the people that think like Brad, y'all better just stay ready for what's coming. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Swan. Appreciate you. You know, I got a little upset a little bit earlier in the live, and the main reason I got upset is I know y'all really love and respect, right, the platform, and y'all want to hear discourse that's intelligent and that's conversational. So I lost my way a little bit. So for those of y'all that are offended by cursing, I apologize, but I had to make sure that the panel and the platform was being respected. So.
It's more of that energy, Smitty. Anyway.
You say you want more of that energy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
Y'all come for Smitty, we ride at dawn now. Don't play. Don't play. We ride at dawn, and I do mean dawn.
I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm just going to say, I'll tease it a little bit, that the platform is definitely being noticed, and there are some very exciting times ahead. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of your support. So yeah, you know, I had to get a little spicy, y'all. I had to get a little spicy today, but again, it's just to protect the folks that I love, protect the platform, and all of y'all in the chat. So I will see y'all soon, though. Y'all take care. I'm headed to the bitter cold. I don't know if my little pea coat is going to do it, Michelle, but we'll see.
Not a pea coat.
You know what, fam? You know what? I ain't even gonna hold you today, fam. I'm not even gonna hold you today.
Where you
I know you got good news on it. Go ahead on and put on that navy blue pea coat, fam, and ride your bike and take your phone. Ride your bike and take your phone.
I don't know.
Smitty, where are you headed to?
Wrap it up.
I'm headed to NYC.
Oh yeah. Button up.
Yeah, so it's gonna be cold out there. You know, I mean, listen, and I don't have somebody to spoon with, so I know it's gonna be real cold, Michelle.
Wow, we're really doing this. Oh, we're really doing this. Oh, you know what, fam? I'll come spoon.
But listen.
Leave your bike outside, fam. Leave your bike outside.
But you ain't got to worry about me. You ain't got to worry about me, Michelle. I'm not 5'3", so I can be the big spoon.
I cannot believe this. Where is Smitty and what have you done with him?
I'm not 5'3", so.
Where is Smitty and what have you done with him? This cannot be happening.